God is looking for supernatural worshippers.
One more time, just lift up your hands, your voice. Worship your Father, thanking Him for all that He is to you, whatever He is to you.
John 4:24 tells us that God is looking for those who would worship Him in spirit and in truth. And one of the ways of worshiping God in spirit and in truth means that your spirit must be engaged, in worship to Him. And secondly is that you must have the knowledge of who you are worshiping.
Lord, you reign.
Two words for me make worship: devotion and surrender. The ability for you to believe that you do not own yourself, and you come to a place whereby you step down on your horses that He may ride in majesty.
You're not just worshiping in the consciousness of things that are around you. There is that consciousness of who you are worshiping, who He is to you. And that's what supernatural worship is all about. God is looking for worshippers.
And greatly to be praised. Lord, you reign. Yeah. We cry, holy, holy.
By definition of worship, it is simply our responsibility as believers, our responsibility as children of God. The Bible says that God created us for His pleasure, and one of the reasons why God created us is for us to, always give Him thanks. And in the moment of worship, in the moment of giving Him thanks, God, arrives in His glory, dwells amongst men, and gives us all of the things that we need in Him.
Lift up your voice, lift up your sound, party my just lift up your hands and worship to Him.
When my brother Dio called me to be part of the Supernatural Studio Worship Experience, I was super excited. I've been looking forward to a time to be on the project with him. And even when I got to know that Dave Ugbor, my brother, is on the project, I got super excited, and I was so pumped up to be right there in the atmosphere. Being on this session brings me so much of joy, because even during the time of the recording process, we had a very, very wonderful time. We were all soaked. It was a powerful moment, as you can all see in the video. Trust me, you are going to be really, really, really blessed by this session. Leading the song Arubojo majorly, it's a song that I always connect with, because it puts me in a place whereby I can believe that I'm welcoming the presence of the one who is great and greatly to be praised, and saying that Cabo, welcome me, calling on the presence of the Lord, is everything to me. And that brings me to the song that we had during this session. It says, Agbe Oga Olorun wa. It means that, that's a Yoruba language. It means in English that, Lord, we lift you up, and our fori wa bale for in humble adoration. It's a posture of worship. It's a posture of worship. And Titi Aye La Ogbe Oga means that for all of our days, when we are young, old, we will always give you thanks.
In other words, for the rest of my life, I'm doing this. For the rest of my life, I'm devoted to worshiping you. For the rest of my life, I'm submitted to worshiping you.
Supernatural worship, an atmosphere of power, an atmosphere of God's presence, an atmosphere where we call the presence of Him who we cannot do without. Him who we cannot exist without.
Yes, you are going to experience that also here at the Supernatural Worship session.
An atmosphere where Jesus is seen and Jesus is glorified.
God is looking for worshippers who will worship beyond their intellectual mentality, that will worship beyond the cares of life that can weigh them down or that seems to weigh them down. Worship, worship, worship.
The Bible says that it comes to pass.
You know, there are times we tell ourselves, especially when we are so much in the spirit, as it should be, that God, I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. But our worship is not just for the good times alone. They are for all moments of life. Personally, I've been in situations where naturally it's sort of been very difficult to open my mouth to say I want to worship. Then you recall that you've once upon a time said that as long as I'm breathing, I will always worship you. Be blessed.
Oh,